This podcast is produced by Passion Nerdly in association with the Nerds Domain and our parent network, the Southgate Media Group. This podcast could not exist without their support or from support by Patreons like you. For more information on how you can get involved, visit passionnerdly.com.
I remember stories from when I was younger. Tales of when the Empire grew vengeful and hunted the clans to the point of extinction. There were masters of deception, spies without equal, warriors of extraordinary ability. This is the legend of a brave few who fought to change the course of history and end the time of woe and terror. Our story begins at the Wooden Dojo.
So, welcome back to
What?
the Wooden Dojo.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, this is our first episode. You can't say welcome back.
It is our first episode, but I just want to go ahead and say hi and welcome to everyone joining us here today.
There you go.
This is a actual play for the Ninja Crusade. And let's go ahead and make sure we got everybody here at the table and get some introductions out of the way. Of course, I am your GM, DM. This is John. And I'm also joined by...
My name is Sean.
Cristi.
Roxy.
Kevin.
Chelsey.
And...
I am David.
Hi.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get this kicking off, and we'll start the game up.
Let's get this kitchen off.
Yes, kitchen off.
Is that what you said?
Start cooking.
Mm-hmm. Our story starts in the middle province in this area of the Izou Empire. Our group of ninja are a special covert team located outside of the what once was the city of Nanchou. Nanchou is a fortress city, but what was once a fortress with the intent of keeping people out, it's now a fortress with the intent of keeping everyone in. Because Nanchou's tall walls and great castle is now a prison. Some of our ninja are actually escaped prisoners from there, having been broken out in various methods or making their own way, and escaping and finding allies. Beyond the walls of this city, it is an aspen forest. The chalky white trees, green leaves blowing in the breeze. It's very hard to imagine this as such a terrible place that it has become. All of you are here now, aiding other escaped prisoners. This is your main goal in this area, is helping those who have escaped. You have been trailing and tracking a group of bandits in the area. They have themselves been accosting people, and most recently kidnapping individuals out here and selling them. You've tracked them back to their camp. 15 men are in this clearing, in various states of armor. You get the impression that these men are likely AWOL from the Imperial Army and have fallen into a life of crime. You see citizens, men, women, and children, huddled in one area, hands tied behind their backs. Some of these men are rifling through packs of clothing. Some of them are centered around a fire, drinking sake and other wines or whatnot. You hear the sounds of laughter, coarse and ugly, coming from within the camp. It has been decided amongst your group that you will try to rescue them. So, this is where we are going to introduce our characters. Let's go ahead and go around the table, and what's going to happen is your character is going to be able to make your dramatic entrance So what I'm asking of you is go ahead and describe the way that your character arrives, what they look like, and how they interact with the scene. Are they going to be all flashy? Are they going to try and be subtle? Are they going to try and intimidate people? You know, how is it that you think you're going to enter the scene? Who would like to go first? Right now you have the element of surprise.
No initiative?
No initiative for this scene. I'm going to let people come in as they are comfortable so that they can describe their characters.
Cool.
Since we have the element of surprise,
Mhm.
and my character is stealthy, can I start?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so you said the bandits have people tied up, and are they in the middle of a clearing right now?
It's a large clearing. The aspen forest surrounds them on all sides. It's a nice, large, circular clearing, probably about, let's go ahead and say maybe about 75 feet across. So it's a very nice, large clearing. A couple tents set up, about 4 or 5 tents, large bonfire in the center of it, and huddled near one of the tents, tied up, are where the people are.
I think off to the side we probably see one of the bandits going about his business. I kind of leaning out from the side, you see a tall fellow about 6 feet, kind of round and chubby with a boyish face. He kind of leans over to the bandit and just kind of looks at him quizzically, and then just kind of taps him on the shoulder and asks him, "Are you sure you really should be doing this? This doesn't seem like the right thing to be doing in this situation."
The bandit, of course, turns and kind of shocked to some extent. He's not surprised so much. It's more of, oh, who's playing this joke on me? Turns and sees you. You get the feeling that he's about to raise an alarm. He's like, are you going to do anything else?
I would like to... Would I use a dynamic action at this point?
Okay.
I would like to try to just put my hand on his mouth to shush him.
All right, so that's going to be initiating a grab, which is a dynamic action. For our listeners, dynamic actions, we're going to go ahead and say you all have your max dynamic actions on this first round. So everybody should have 4. But dynamic actions are a way of doing actions in the scene beyond that of your standard initiative order and characters' abilities, things of that nature. All right, so you're going to initiate that grab. So how are you going to go about this? Is it going to be strength and athletics?
I would, if I could, I would like to try it using fight and stealth.
Fight and stealth? Okay.
Just trying to get a hand in his face and then kind of cover his mouth and kind of use an element of surprise, just kind of push him back and confuse him.
All right. So how many dice is that for you in total?
7.
7 dice? Okay. And, of course, he has the opportunity to try to stop you amongst himself, but go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
3 successes.
3 successes, and he had no successes on what he was doing. You managed to put your hand on his mouth before he can take an action. Go ahead and describe what your character looks like beyond that. Clothing, hairstyles, things of that nature.
Kentaro's wearing comfy pants that kind of has a loose vest. On his arms and his shoulders, you can tell he has tattoos. If you were to examine it for a minute, it looks like writing. And then if you look at it deeper, you realize that it's stories. Maybe different tales and anecdotes of history.
His full name is?
Matsuo Kentaro.
Excellent. So who would like to go next?
I'll go next. So, seeing that Kentaro has started up a distraction, I would like to activate a jutsu, which is called the Unnoticed.
Okay.
So I get 3 dice with that. It's yen plus stealth. And I get 2 successes, so I don't have a backfire. So that means that I'm able to blend perfectly with the background, and that I get a +2 stealth when I move in. I would essentially like to come in on the opposite side of the clearing that Kentaro has come in on. I'm gonna try. Can I make it to the prisoners and get to them without bumping into any of the people?
You should be able to. So you're using your stealth attribute, which is obviously you said at +2 because of the jutsu.
Right. What other skill should I try and use for that? Would it be...
For our listeners, this game runs on the idea that you're going to combine 2 skills, and these skills create a dice pool. obviously, he is going to be using stealth as one of the skills.
Right.
And you have the opportunity to use another skill on top of that. And it depends on how you describe it. Like, you could go for intuition, which is your gut feeling of how to do it, how to move through the area where you're going to avoid people. Or it could be athletics as you bounce and leap and bound from location to location.
Right.
It depends on how you describe that your movement.
I think I'd like to just try and cut through the quickest way and not like worry about athletics or anything, but
So more of speed?
No, I was looking for intuition.
Oh,
Just
intuition, okay.
Try and judge the easiest path through where I'll disturb the fewest people.
There we go. All right, so your dice pool will be intuition with stealth.
All right. So with that +2, that makes it 7 dice.
And of course, the way successes are determined is 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s are 2 successes.
So I got 2 successes out of those dice.
2 successes? All right.
Yeah.
Were you supposed to be giving us difficulties? Or
Uh,
are you doing that later?
Because these are contested tests
okay,
at
okay.
this point, I'm rolling against you.
Okay, sounds good.
I will say this, and this is something else that determines a lot of the difficulty in these situations. The number of people will create a dice pool.
Okay.
And so the more people there are, the more chance they could see you.
Right.
Higher dice pool. I will say, however, feel very lucky they did not see you this time.
Yay. That's great since I'm just wandering into the middle of it. So I'm going to pull out a small like pocket knife and just walk up to the prisoners and very quietly say, "So you guys want to break out of this place?" And just grab the rope very gingerly and start cutting on some rope for some of these guys.
Okay. Unless next round, or if you want to spend some dynamic actions, you could. I would let you trade dynamic actions, so you could try and cut all their bonds this round, or you can try and do it slowly over a course of rounds.
I will use my dynamic actions to free the prisoners like now. Like I'll
Okay.
spend all those doing that, and I'll just describe my character real quick as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
His form is a little bit blurred because of this magic-y jutsu he is invoked, but he has pale, very smooth skin. He has dark hair that is pulled back into a ponytail at the base of his neck, and it continues for a good 6 inches down his back. He's wearing dark gray robes that are trimmed in sort of silvery cloth. And then he's got wraps around his arms, which are covering tattoos as well, and of various things. And some of them are more than they seem. Some of them are just tattoos, but some of them are other things, which will come up.
But tattoos, will you say pictorial, or are they a little bit more like the previous ninjas' tattoos, where they are?
They're much more pictorial. They're much I have some flower symbols and some. Maybe some like single symbols, but not like anything that would be lengthy. Just like a symbol for fire or something like that. But then I also have objects and things tattooed on me, just various things.
Who would like to go next out of the group? We've got 3 other players in this scene currently.
I can go ahead and go next.
All right, yeah, please, David.
So we would be coming in from stealth, and as the bandit started up, as he started that, he's already starting to take the prisoners out, right?
He's
To get them out.
he's releasing the prisoners.
So there are guards that would impede him from doing that, correct?
There would be guards that would impede their escape. Well, when they start running, there are obviously going to be guards going after them, or there are 15 guards,
But there are none in the immediate vicinity.
not in the immediate vicinity of the prisoners now.
I think the one that Kentaro approached and has his hand over his mouth, Kentaro's probably like trying to slowly push him back away from the group.
There were more of those bandits, you said they were, right?
Yeah. Not exactly where Kentaro is. Kentaro specifically targeted 1. There are guards around the fire. There were small groups gambling. Different groups, different locations throughout the camp. Probably about groups of anywhere from 3 to 5.
And are you using the terms guards and bandits?
Yeah, guards and bandits.
Interchangeably?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so then what I was looking for was if there was anyone who may be seeing either what Kentaro was doing or what Kinnojo was doing, and I was going to stop them.
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and say that there is a group nearby of about 2 or 3 bandits that are sitting gambling, and if they were to turn around, there's a good chance they could see the prisoners' area.
Well, since there's multiple, there's 3 of them. I'm going to be keeping an eye on them to make sure that they don't. And if they do start to turn to look, I will try to make a distraction in the opposite direction.
Did you describe your character yet?
Oh, sorry, no. Sanosuke is a rather somewhat thin but muscular-looking, fit individual wearing a very ordinary kimono-style outfit with no insignia or heraldry or anything on it. His hair's pulled back in traditional top-knot style, and he's got some kind of scruffy facial hair. Most of his skin is covered, so you can't see much, whereas some that is exposed, some you can see tattoos all over him of various designs, sort of traditional designs, things that are covering up a lot of scars that you can tell are there, and then some that are weapons that look like weapons.
All right, and so Cristi or Chelsey, who would like to go next?
I can go next.
All right.
So Sanosuke, where he's at and he's watching the guards, are there like trees in this area? Is this like a foresty area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
it is a clearing surrounded by an aspen tree forest.
Okay.
Trees are pretty close together. There's, of course, the crisscrossing branches, probably about 10, 15 feet up off the forest floor.
Okay, because that's kind of where I see my character. That she's like climbed up the trees and just kind of scoping out the area, just trying to be stealthy and making sure to watch if any of the other bandits start to notice what the other characters have done so far. Because no one's noticed what's going on. But part of me kind of wants to go ahead and just throw my shurikens and get the party started.
You know, we get all our dynamic actions
do
this
it.
round.
Yes. You know what? Why the heck not? Because she has a jutsu called trick shots. So pretty much I can throw my shurikens and they come back to me.
Oh, nice.
And they bounce, and it doesn't have to be in a very direct way. So I think I'd like to activate that jutsu.
All right, so you need to do a jutsu activation roll.
So I need 4 dice. I have 2 successes, which is just what I
go.
needed.
So you managed to make your jutsu test without any negative.
Correct.
All right.
So now affected range attacks gain a +1 bonus to hit.
All right.
So I have 2, because we have the...
Equal to the successes gained.
Okay, yes, so I can attack 2 people.
Yes.
So I would like to attack probably the 2 that are the closest to who could like turn around and see the work that Kinnojo is doing.
Now, I do want to toss this out as a part of the understanding of the way this game works, especially when we're dealing with a mook mob, which is essentially what this is. Your successes in a lot of these situations, one success, beyond the defense of whatever they do, every success is essentially you just took down one mook. So you can, this is an opportunity to take down more than just one.
Ah, okay. Then to make time my attack, that would be marksman plus stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Would that work?
Marksman plus stealth, that would be great.
Okay, so give me 5 dice.
And this is for 1 attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. 1, 2 successes.
2 successes. All right. I'm not going to have them roll defense because at this point they are unaware that you were there. And you shurikens fly out and will strike 2 of them. How were you going to... were you going to aim anywhere specifically, or were you going to try and go for something that would actually take them down quickly?
I was probably aiming more for like the neck region.
All right. So
since this is the trick shot, she can, she has good skills as far as marking where she wants them to go. And
shurikens fly out of the forest from an unknown location, striking 2 of these bandits in the throat. Gouts of blood coming out in a very anime-esque kind of fashion. This spraying out as they fall to the ground and probably screaming out.
Sorry to blow your cover, guys.
It's bound to happen eventually.
Can I use a dynamic action to act now and go after that third one that she didn't hit?
Certainly. You had dynamic actions left over?
I didn't use any.
Oh, you didn't use any? Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because he was just watching out. So, yeah,
I
all
was waiting to
yours.
see what was going to happen.
All yours.
All right, so I'll go after the remaining.
Mm-hmm.
And since attacking from stealth, I get a +2 bonus. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Whoa.
Hey.
Nice. And so how exactly were you attacking?
Okay, so as I watched her fling her shuriken out and definitely take out 2 of them, and as the third turned and surprised, as he was stunned, I leapt out from the trees and slashed him with one quick draw of my sword and took him out.
Right, so the final one falls as well. The guards are startled by the sound. Standing up, they see this figure now in the camp, obviously looking over and seeing your character, which is Sanosuke, right?
Sanosuke.
So, last to go, we have Cristi. Oh, and did we get a character description on you yet?
Actually.
No,
I
actually,
just
let's
realized.
get that
yes,
in there really
sorry,
quick.
I was just debating too much about what I want to do. Yes, so my character's name is Onishi Taya. She goes by Ishi. She's quite small in stature. She's probably only about 4'8", 4'9", but she's wearing very loose-fitted pants and kind of a tighter-ish top. It's very brightly colored. She has long hair that she keeps in a ponytail in the back. And she's very small, but very mighty.
Well, let's go ahead now and let's get Cristi in the mix.
Okay, I was kind of standing in the tree line, hidden, watching everyone do their attacks, trying to scope out the next best course of action. After seeing Sanosuke and Ishi go out into the open with their flurry of blows, she decides to follow up after them and go after the first couple that she sees that notice them and try to take them out as quickly as possible. I am going to use one of my fighting styles. It's called Dragon's Whip's Tail. She's going to end up to where she's doing like a side stand to where she's using both of her legs to sweep out their legs from underneath them, put them on the ground.
So that will be a fighting might, or how do you want to go about that? Fighting athletics?
I was thinking fighting athletics.
All right. And because you gave me a description on that I really did like, go ahead and add another +1 to that. I do want to say, remember, guys, it is in the book. When you describe your attacks in a very graphic way or very, descriptive way that provides a cinematic experience, you can get a +1 to your action.
Okay.
Cool. Got 4 successes.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Okay, let me see. Because you went after how many? 2 of them?
2.
I think you got a few more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They just went down on their butts.
Nice.
Crashing into various things here in the camp, they are, of course, knocked out as they are mooks.
At this point, Kentaro would like to interject with a dynamic action.
Okay.
Kentaro looks over his shoulders and sees the violence breakdown. He kind of sighs a bit and just looks back at the bandit. He has his hand over his mouth and just says, "Sorry, friend." And he's going to attempt to push him into a tree that's behind him with the intent of knocking him out.
So fighting might.
I was thinking maybe fighting empathy, because I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just trying to... I feel a little bad for him.
That definitely fits it within your description. And I kind of like that, so add another +1 to that.
Okay, I got 3 successes.
3 successes, and... Alright. You basically slam his head into the tree, and his eyes roll back, and he is knocked out.
Can I just say something at this point? I'm gonna notice what's going on behind me and see that the fight has started. And as I'm cutting the bonds on these people, I say, "Okay, now's a good time to run."
All right. The peasants, of course, stand up, scrambling out of the area now their bonds are cut, and they begin taking off for the forest. You are now left with 9 guards that have realized something's taking place. They still don't see your character, Kevin. So instead, though, they do see the large figure who has knocked out one of their numbers and a guy with a sword standing off to the side, and they're going to be coming for y'all. So, Mr. with the sword, you've got 5 people coming your direction, and you're going to have the one who knocked everyone out. You're going to be up against 4 of them are coming your direction. So let's see where that goes really quick.
If you could let me know, are they within 10 feet?
They will be.
All right, I will use an action when they're within 10 feet to activate Shuriken Explosion.
All right, so tell me about Shuriken Explosion.
You want me to tell it to you or describe what he'll be doing?
Kind of both. Now, you're interrupting their action at this point. It's usable only once around. Have you already interrupted someone?
No.
No. All right. So it costs 2 dynamic actions to do. You have enough dynamic actions for that?
Yes, I used one just so that I could act earlier.
Okay.
All right, so Sanosuke sees the crowd charging at them, or charging at him, so he will dash towards them, getting in the midst of them. He rips open the top of his kimono, and there are basically a band of shuriken tattooed around his torso. As he activates the jutsu, and you can see the air sort of ripple around him, the tattoos start to quiver, and he flexes, and the tattoos turn into actual shuriken as they explode off his body, striking all those around him in a 10-foot radius.
Nice. Okay, so go ahead and you're going to need to do your jutsu activation roll. Add a +1 for the description.
Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
5 successes.
Wow.
And what level?
One of those was a 10.
What level jutsu is this?
A 2?
It's a 2. So you went over by. Did you go over by enough to get your boost?
That would be, just enough for 1 boost.
So enough for 1 boost. So again, for our listeners, every time you succeed in a roll by more than 3, you gain a boost, which can apply to certain things within the action.
For every 3.
Yeah, for every 3. How are you going to do this? Now, is there an additional roll beyond this that you need to make?
It says that it does everyone in the area for 2 damage, but I don't know how you're going to use that with it being the mob.
Oh no, that works, because basically that means everybody that just ran up to you is falling over. So you just took out all 5 people with your explosion of shuriken that launch off your chest, seemingly rippling into reality.
Can I interject for just a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Makoto sees Sanosuke, his wondrous attack, and she just kind of is taken aback and is kind of in awe of what she sees for a moment.
So we now are left with 4 guards after that situation, and they are still rushing towards you. And so, what method of defense were you going to be doing this round?
So can I spin a dynamic action to do a jutsu and then 1 more dynamic action to defend myself? Is that how this works?
Let me see. So you would, at this point, because they are in the midst of their action, it's an interrupt. You're interrupting someone's action, and you can only do it once per round, and it costs 2 dynamic actions to do that. So you'd have to spend 3. 2 for the interruption, and also 1 for the, 1 for essentially your activation of your jutsu.
Okay, I have 3 left, so I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
All right.
Do the jutsu first. I am going to cast Swift Soul, so it's my travel plus my yang. I got 1 success, so I don't have a drawback on it, so it gets off. It lets me add my speed to my defense. Basically,
Okay.
Kentaro, despite being a rather jovial fellow, apparently moves really, really lightning quick. And I'm going to use my defense action to basically roll total defense just to try to keep them occupied while my companions deal with them.
All right. So you're looking at 2 successes for their attempts to attack you. They are brandishing wooden cudgels and whatnot, coming over to try and knock you out.
Okay, so when I make my defense roll, it's normally 4 for athletics, plus 3 for fighting. Because of the jutsu, I can add 4 speed, and then I got 1 more dice because I'm specialized in defense.
Okay, there we go.
Wow, that's a lot of dice.
I have 7 successes.
7 successes. Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, you are moving quicker than they could possibly imagine. You succeeded going over the necessary roll by 3, obviously. More than that, because they rolled only 2 successes. So you got 1 boost. You can trade in for one of the things you can do a boost with, or you can go ahead and turn that boost into a karma for someone to use in the future.
I think I'll turn that boost into a karma. So whoever goes next can use it to deal with the bandits. It's not distracting them.
All right. Did we get a description of your character yet?
No.
Let's go ahead and get that in there.
As Makoto stands up from knocking her 2 victims out, as she stands for a moment looking across the battlefield at what's occurring, You notice that she's on the short side. She's not as small, not quite as small as Ishi, but she's not too much taller than her. She has shoulder-length black hair that she wears in a loose bun at the nape of her neck. She often has a flower or dried herb of some sort tucked into the bun as a hair decoration. For her frame, she's stocky, but you can tell that her years of working in the field have given her very strong legs and arms. She wears a pair of dark blue pants that have drawstrings at the ankles and the waist, and a beige tunic with a leather belt that she has some pouches hanging off of, and there's a small pruning knife tucked in the back. She also often has a coolie hat with her, if not on her head. She's not wearing it at the moment because they are fighting, so she has left that off in the woods somewhere.
All right, so we are now back into initiative, essentially. The round is going to continue, and we are going to use our special initiative actions to go ahead and decide how we're going to do this. Now, essentially, the entire camp, the prisoners have gotten away, and there are, I think it's 4 people who are attacking Kentaro. No, not Kentaro. Sorry. Yes? Yes, Kentaro. They're attacking Kentaro, and they're kind of distracted because obviously, in a very almost legendary manner, this individual is evading every attack, regardless of what they do, acting in concert. It's a rather amazing thing to see. So we are going to start at the top of initiative, and we have, starting off, we have Taya will act first, and Sanosuke is on deck for follow-up action. So, Taya.
All right. Well, she's want to get over in the action. I think she wasn't as close to the ones that are coming up on Kentaro. So I'd like to see her kind of go through the trees after the shuriken have come back to her.
Do we need to do dynamic actions and see how much we get this round?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that really quick. Everybody needs to roll 3 dice to decide your dynamic actions, how many you have this round beyond your standard 1.
I have 2.
All right, there we go.
Can
So you'll
probably
have your
have 2
standard
total.
1 action, and you'll be able to. You have 2 dynamic actions.
Gotcha.
I rolled 5, 7, 10. Was this every success gives us 1?
Yes. So that
3
would be
additional.
3 for you. Yes.
Is that 3 total or 3 additional to the one that
3
we get
additional to the
automatically?
one that you get. Yes.
Okay, cool.
So how are you handling this?
Yeah, so I see her after the shuriken have come back to her after downing the other bandits. She sees that people are coming towards Kentaro. She scurries through the trees pretty quickly. But then I'd like for her to do a flip kind of just out of the tree and kind of surprise the 4 that are coming at him and start to attack with her bladed fan.
So go ahead and roll. You are essentially trying to do athletics fighting.
Yep, that's
There
what I was
we
gonna
go.
say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. I have 4 successes.
4 successes.
Mhm.
All right. And let's see.
And also there's... Oh, I could have done one more, but that's okay. Because I'm assuming they're much bigger than me.
2 of them fall to the ground, clutching at wounds that you have done to them. 2 of them, however, flail and back away. Or there's all of a sudden seeing you coming out of nowhere, this flash of speed and this weapon that you're twirling around, they are not touched at this point.
Okay.
Okay, Sanosuke. So
All right,
what are you going to be doing?
So am I close enough to interact with the guards that are attacking Kentaro?
You can take a action and a move as a part of your standard, which, so you'd be able to get to them and still have an attack and your dynamic actions, however many you have.
Okay. Then I will rush into where he is and start attacking the guards. I'll be using all the training that I have with sword, just quick, agile slashing with the katana from one guard to the next, hoping to take out as many as possible.
So go ahead and roll your attack. I'm guessing it's going to be a fighting might or a fighting athletics.
Yeah, fighting athletics I think is normal.
All right.
And I will use one of my dynamic actions for enhanced attack.
Let's see. An enhanced attack, and that gives you a +1?
Plus
Oh, sorry,
attack,
+2.
+2 bonus. Yeah, okay. And also, the first individual that I'm running up to, I'm going to be marking with Never Forget a Taste for my Tiger's fighting style training, which gives me +1 fighting against him in battle. And then I can change it, sort of like Hunter's Mark from D&D.
All right.
Nice.
Love a good Hunter's Mark.
So it's going to be +3, 7, 8, 9. That gives me a total of 10 dice.
Wow.
Dang.
Six successes.
All right, 6 successes. That is only between, I think, 2 or 3 guys at this point. So you slash across their bellies, across their chests, this whirlwind of action and perfection with the katana. And as you stop holding a dramatic pose in the clearing, the last 2 of the bandits just fall to the ground.
And
He will flick the blood off of his blade and then sheath it again.
And I say, oh, hey, Sanosuke, leave one of them alive. Well, never mind. That's fine. Maybe we knocked one of them out earlier. Maybe we can see what he knows.
Okay. So, you have essentially eliminated all the bandits in this camp. What are y'all doing at this point?
I think Kentaro takes out a scroll from his pack and a pen, and just kind of like mutters something about it being a rather short story, and then just starts writing.
So I would like to... So the ones that Makoto attacked earlier were attacked with, just fist attacks, right? So so I'd like to take some of the ropes that I cut from the prisoners, and I'd like to go over and try and bind one of those guys' hands. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, so you're binding them up. There are essentially 3 knocked out victims at this point, or previous bandits.
Right.
The 2 that she swept, and then the one whose head was knocked into the tree by Kentaro.
Okay. Do I need to roll anything for that, or
no, not at all. They're out cold and they're just mooks.
Gotcha. So I will tie them up.
Okay.
And maybe we'll question them later, or maybe we'll leave them. Either way is fine.
Are there any of the prisoners still hanging around, or did they all get loose?
They all took off running into the woods. Something was happening. They didn't exactly understand it. They were just thrilled to be able to get away. They're all essentially farmers from this area who rumor has come up that they went missing, either from the field or perhaps walks in the forest. This is something that your group had been investigating for a short amount of time.
Okay.
Going through everything, of course, these guys were definitely AWOL from the Emperor's army. There's nothing really of value other than their weapons and a few other things here, and the opportunity, obviously, to save some people.
All right.
You gather what little you can, probably. It has been kind of the modus operandi for your group to live off the land and survive however you can out here. It's been very difficult. You are only a few days' travel from the capital. This is a dangerous area. It is always best to be stealthful out here. And you don't really want people knowing in the local fortress that, there's ninja operating this close by. You gather what you can and disappear off into the forest. Looking around, traipsing your way back to whatever hidden location that you have found.
I think Kentaro would ask the rest of the party, do you think we should take the guards and hide them in the forest before we leave?
I'm trying to think of what good that would do.
I mean, if anyone finds these guys, I don't think they'll know it's ninja. Well, we've collected our weapons. I think they'll be okay. Maybe the guys we leave alive, if someone would like to not leave them alive, we can do that. But I'm okay with just leaving them tied up. That's fine by me.
Leave them tied up and let them see the carnage and hopefully know better next time.
Yeah. Plus, they probably won't be wanting to go back to the Empire. They're deserters.
Kentaro nods.
Okay.
I'll probably try to brush off some of our tracks as we start to meander away so that way they can't follow where we're headed next.
Yep. So you make your way through the forest, and you had created a camp. There was an area that during some flooding, the roots of trees had essentially rotted away and fallen over, creating what ended up becoming a ravine dug out by the water. It's a nice large area that you've managed to secure and build a small camp in. You try and rotate through several areas like this you found them, and you'll stay there for a week or so, and then move on to another one. Trying not to draw too much attention to yourselves. But as you make your way back to the camp, there's that familiar smell to you of cooking, fire going. You know that at the camp is also one of the members of your band known as Rin. Rin is an unusual ninja. Their power is that of disguise and deception. Oftentimes Rin will go to the fortress masquerading as guards or other people to gain access to get information on prisoners there and trying to find ways to help them or get them out. Oftentimes Rin is gone for days and then it comes back exhausted and just sleeps there at the camp. But when they are there, stays, cleans, cooks, does things for the group, knowing that while they can't go out and really help all of you fight or do some of the actions in the area, they can do their part whenever they're there in the camp. And so you smell, obviously, a very familiar smell of the cooking with the herbs and other things that you can find in this forest. Walking up to the camp, you see Rin. Rin is wearing a long white kimono. Very out of place, obviously, in the forest, but immaculately kept. It's one of those things that's always surprised you about them. Rin, no matter what, seems to be capable of maintaining an appearance. Incredible ability. It's one of those other things is that nobody's really sure what Rin is. Sometimes within the group there's rumors maybe Rin is a spirit. Some people believe Rin is a man because of some of the times they've seen them masquerading as such, sometimes as a woman. Rin is quite impressive at what they do. But Rin is not alone. There is another figure there in the clearing waiting for you, wearing what appears to be somewhat official garb of the capital. And I think we're going to go ahead and call this first episode here for the moment, and when we get back we'll be introducing a new character and starting up what is happening and how this other person got there. Thank you all so much for joining us for the Wooden Dojo. We hope you enjoyed this first episode and come back for the next one in a week or two. Bye, guys.